You were taught to wait for proof. You were taught to let reality decide first, then you adjust. That belief is the reason you are losing. It feels safe. It keeps you comfortable. It also converts your life into a waiting room where you watch bolder people take what you convinced yourself would arrive on its own. Comfort is not neutral. Comfort is a slow tax on your potential. The longer you pay it, the more it compounds against you. Here is the correction. What you assume is true about yourself becomes the command signal your brain uses to filter perception, allocate energy, and select action. Neville Goddard called this the law of assumption. Assume the state, then you behave as if were already real. He said it collapses time. That sounds mystical until you understand the psychology. Your brain is a prediction machine that uses expectations as marching orders. Change the order and the timeline changes with it. There are only two identities in this game. The reactive, who treats the world as judge and waits to be chosen. The assumptive, who treats the world as a field that reorganizes around conviction, backed by behavior. One identity drifts, postpones, and watches. The other selects, commits, and confronts. One spends time. The other compresses it. You were taught that prudence means caution. You were taught that certainty must come first. Machiavelli called that fantasy. He warned against imagined republics. He said to study the effectual truth, which is how power actually moves, not how you wish it would move. The effectual truth is this. People and systems respond to signals of settled identity, not to requests for permission. Epictetus drew the line even sharper. There is what is up to you, and what is not up to you. Your assumption is up to you. Your external circumstances are not. If you start with what you do control, you change your posture, your perception, and your probabilities. If you start with what you do not control, you stay in reaction and you forfeit your leverage. Neville's critics think assumption is daydreaming. They are wrong. Daydreaming is passive fantasy. Assumption is an internal verdict that alters what your nervous system prioritizes. That difference is not poetic. It is neurological. Predictive processing shows that top-down expectations shape bottom-up data. Your reticular activating system filters for what matters to your current model of reality. If you assume irrelevance, you miss cues. If you assume significance, previously invisible options become obvious. Hebbian plasticity strengthens the pathways you fire repeatedly. Expectation becomes selection. Selection becomes habit. Habit becomes environment. This is why assumption collapses time. You reduce dithering. You remove contradictory goals. You shorten the distance between intent and behavior. The brain rewards clean targets with precision. Dopamine releases signal progress toward expected outcomes. Clear expectation amplifies that signal. Vague expectation depresses it. Strong priors cut the feedback loops that waste months. The mainstream thinks time is a calendar. The successful treat time as decision density. Weak assumptions generate low-density days. You touch the work. You pull back. You chase novelty. You dilute attention. Strong assumptions generate high-density days. You execute. You refine. You escalate. Same hours. Different velocity. You were taught to value evidence before conviction. Here's the correction. In domains of human performance, conviction often produces the evidence. The Pygmalion effect shows that expectations change outcomes. Placebo research shows that belief triggers real physiological changes. Ideomotor research shows that belief moves the body before conscious intention does. Visual motor rehearsal improves skill because the brain codes vivid rehearsal as partial experience. Neville's feeling is the secret maps to somatic markers. The nervous system tags states with emotional weight. When you feel the assumption, you anchor the model in your body, which increases the likelihood of action and resilience. Let me draw the contrast clearly. Reactive identity waits for certainty, looks for permission, interprets setbacks as proof of limitation, and manages ego by lowering aims. Their language is maybe, later, when it makes sense. They age in place. Assumptive identity defines a role, accepts the price, interprets setbacks as cost of entry, and manages ego by choosing pressure. Their language is now, regardless, until they age forward. One path maximizes comfort in the present and pain in the future. The other accepts tension in the present to reduce regret later. Stoicism is not suppression. It is selection. You select what deserves your attention. You select what you will endure to keep your word to yourself. You were taught to avoid delusion. Good. Avoid it. Assumption is not delusion. Delusion denies constraints. Assumption acknowledges constraints and refuses to surrender agency. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action. That is not magic. That is a description of attention under pressure. When the objective is non-negotiable, obstacles become instruction. They tell you where to adapt next. With a weak assumption, obstacles become excuses. With a strong assumption, obstacles become data. Layer 1. Awareness. You are already assuming. Your current results reveal what you have been assuming about your limits, your status, and your timeline. If you treat yourself as an amateur, you will find evidence that the world agrees. If you treat yourself as a professional in training, you will filter for opportunities to act like one. Your social environment will respond to your signals. People detect hesitancy. They also detect settled competence. You cannot fake the latter for long, because the body gives you away. Assumption changes posture, tone, and micro-behaviors. Others respond to those, often subconsciously. Layer 2. Control. You can choose what to assume, then defend it. Start with a question. If the result were already mine, how would I allocate attention today? Do not overthink it. Your nervous system understands specific cues better than slogans. You pick a standard. You invest your self-respect in that standard. You remove escape hatches. You do not bargain with the decision every morning. That eliminates decision fatigue and frees prefrontal bandwidth for execution. Goal shielding research shows that protecting a primary goal from competing goals increases achievement. Assumption is goal shielding at the identity level. It cancels lower priorities before they reach your calendar. Layer 3. Mastery. This is where time collapses. When you hold an assumption with clean integrity, you shorten loops at 3 levels. Perceptual. Your brain now searches for confirmatory cues. Not blindly, efficiently. You see who to call, what to cut, and where to iterate. You stop draining energy on irrelevant inputs. Behavioral. You act with speed because the action is not a referendum on your worth. It is maintenance of your role. Basal ganglia circuits automate repeated sequences faster when the reward prediction error is consistent. Translation. The more your actions align with a single assumption, the more those actions become automatic. Automatic actions cost less time. Social. People orient to confidence that matches observable effort. This is not charisma. It is coherence. You move like someone who knows where they are going. That changes how gatekeepers, partners, and even competitors treat you. The Pygmalion effect is not only about teachers and students. It is about how entire systems pay attention to those who demonstrate settled identity. History favors assumptive actors. Caesar crossed the Rubicon after assuming that Rome would be shaped by his movement rather than his hesitation. Churchill assumed survival when the facts screamed collapse. Entrepreneurs who bend markets assume product-market fit and then grind reality into alignment by iterating faster than the timid. You can call this luck. You can call it narrative. The effect is the same. Conviction accelerates cycles of trial and correction until the world stops ignoring you. You were told that imagination is childish. Here is the correction. Imagination is a laboratory for the nervous system. Vivid rehearsal wires predictions into your sensor motor maps. When you enter the arena, Your body has already processed a version of the experience. You feel less novelty. You make fewer errors. The interval between try and refine shrinks. That is what collapsing time looks like outside of slogans. Counterintuitive does not mean false. It means unfamiliar to those who outsource their thinking to crowds. Crowds are not designed for speed or depth. Crowds preserve comfort. Stoic practice draws you away from that default. Premeditatio malorum is an example. You imagine the losses in advance so that you are ready to pay the price without drama. Neville's version is the inverse. You imagine the end as real so that you treat the price as already paid. Both work toward the same outcome. Composure under pressure. Composure saves time. There are limits. If your assumption outruns your competence, you will be exposed. Good. Exposure produces data and urgency. Do not pretend outcomes do not matter. They matter. Do not pretend feedback is an attack. It is instruction. Machiavelli said that men judge by the eye. They see what you present. If your assumption lives only in your head, the world will ignore it. If your assumption appears in your scheduling, your preparation, and your patience, the world will concede to it. Let me make the binary unavoidable. Either your identity is determined by external verdicts, or your identity is declared first and then proven through work. Either you spend years negotiating with your fear, or you spend months enforcing a standard until fear becomes bored with you. Either you wait for conditions to be favorable, or you decide that you will be the stable condition, regardless of weather. One path is available to everyone and chosen by most. The other path is available to anyone and chosen by few. Language exposes your alignment. The reactive say, I will try, I hope, I wish. They speak in indefinite terms. The assumptive say, I am, I do, I deliver. They speak in operational terms. If this offends you, it is because you prefer potential without price. That preference will keep you harmless. Harmless people are easy to schedule, easy to delay, and easy to forget. You were taught to avoid pressure. Here is the correction. Pressure tests the assumption and compresses learning. Hermetic stress thickens your capacity. Without it, your self-concept remains unproven and fragile. The nervous system calibrates around what you survive. Survive enough clean tests and your state becomes calm. Calm people move faster than anxious people because they do not waste energy on threat simulation. They spend it on result creation. The practical guardrails are simple. Base your assumption on a result that you can influence with effort. Demand from yourself visible proof every day. Refuse to declare defeat for trivial setbacks. Refuse to declare victory for trivial applause. Maintain a small circle that respects standards. Remove people who are allergic to ambition. This is not cruelty. It is conservation of your attention. Attention is a finite asset. You can trade it for comfort now or freedom later. There is no third option. If you need scientific language to calm your rational mind, use it. The default mode network simulates identity. The salience network flags what matters. Prefrontal circuits control impulse. Dopaminergic pathways code progress. Strong assumptions synchronize these systems around a single narrative. That synchronization looks like luck from the outside. Inside, it feels like alignment. You are not waiting for the world to let you in. You are already inside your role, and you are letting the world catch up. Neville was right in the only way that counts. Assume the state, then live from it, not perform it, not pretend it. Live from it. It removes negotiation with yourself. It removes apology. It removes delay. Feeling is the secret, because feeling is the body's agreement with the mind. When your body agrees, your timing improves. When your timing improves, people call it timing. They will ignore the years you spent refusing to move like everyone else. You were taught that knowledge is neutral. It is not. Knowledge is political. Most people will never be told to assume at this level, because assumption inside the wrong mind becomes entitlement. That is why this conversation is selective. If you hear entitlement in this, leave it. If you hear responsibility, stay. Responsibility accelerates you. Entitlement corrodes you. Here is the hard edge. This content is not for tourists. It is for those willing to trade comfort for consequence. If you are ready, adopt one assumption that is worthy of your future. Not 10, 1. Guard it. Feed it with attention. Enforce it with behavior. Let it cost you your old identity. Let it force you to stop arguing for your limits. If you do this cleanly, time will stop feeling like a wall in front of you. It will start feeling like a resource you direct. The door is narrow. That is the point. If everyone did this, the market would reprice the behavior and the edge would vanish. Most will not. They will watch, comment, and return to scrolling. Do not be most. Step into the minority that moves with deliberate assumption, unshakable standards, and a calm refusal to wait for permission. If you want more of this level of insight, prove it to yourself first. Choose the assumption that fits your next chapter, then live from it for 7 days without negotiation. If your results begin to shift, stay here. If they do not, examine your honesty. Either way, you will be acting like the rare few who take their inner state seriously enough to control it. You were taught to hope that time will deliver you. Here's the correction. You deliver yourself by collapsing time through assumption, attention, and action. The minority understands this. The minority wins with this. Decide which side you are on, and then remove the gap between decision and motion.